Assalamu alaikum everyone, and welcome to my channel if you're new, and welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Emma, and let's jump right into our topic of why I don't have a college degree. So where I live in the United States, it's really seen as really important to have a college degree. Like if you don't have a college degree, people might look down on you. And a lot of times people don't even want to hire you. There are even basic jobs that still say bachelor's degree required. Even if it's a job that kind of doesn't need a bachelor's degree, well, they ask for it anyway. So not having a degree makes life pretty hard. So why don't I have one? I did go to college. So I did have a college education, but not a full one. I only completed 2 years of school. I didn't apply to a whole lot of schools because I wasn't really motivated. College sounded fun, but it wasn't necessarily something I was super excited about. I had okay grades. I didn't have the best grades. In the US, you have to take something called the SAT. My SAT score wasn't bad, but it wasn't great either. It wasn't amazing. It was pretty right down the middle. Because my SAT score was pretty right down the middle, I felt like I shouldn't be applying to fancy schools. Of course I applied to some of the ones like Harvard and stuff, not because I actually wanted to go there, but because I thought it was a funny joke. Actually, I don't think I applied to Harvard. I applied to some nice schools, but only nice schools that didn't require you to pay to send your application in. Some schools had a fee that you had to pay, and I think Harvard was one of them. I don't remember. I ended up going to Portland State University, which was in my hometown, and I really liked it. It was a great experience for the most part. So I say for the most part because I made a lot of good friends. I had some good experiences, but I also had some of the worst experiences of my life in college. The first thing you have to understand is I was in an abusive relationship. I was in a relationship with this man, and he was very abusive. And he was my high school sweetheart. This was way before I converted, so I wasn't Muslim yet. So dating was a thing that I thought was fine at the time. Just backing up for a second. Now, he was really awful to me. So my mental health had been steadily declining for a few years. I think when I started college, we were together for, I think that was the 4th year we were together. My mental health was just rapidly declining. The first major sign of my declining mental health was my relationship with my roommate. She, I don't really know if she was rude or not, because I was in a mental space where it was difficult for me to really understand how other people perceived me and their actions, and there were some harsh things she said to me, but they may have been harsh truths, and I'm not really sure. But we had some struggles. We were besties at first. We were inseparable. But as time went on, things got bad. She was complaining about every little thing about me, and I think some of her thoughts were valid. So Rena, if you're watching this, some of your thoughts were valid, and maybe all of them were. She had a lot of complaints because of my mental health, because of my depression and anxiety, mostly depression though. Self-care was going downhill, and she was noticing that, and she was getting upset about that, and she was wanting me to fix it. But she didn't understand it was depression, because I didn't understand it was depression. So we didn't know what was going on. And I thought everything was fine, and she knew everything was not fine, but thought I was just, slacking off or whatever. And then the person I was with wasn't any help. because, you know, he wanted me down. He wanted to bring me down. He wanted me to feel small so that he could control me. So really, my downward spiral was a good thing for him. Once that year was over, I actually moved in with my boyfriend at the time, and we moved into a dorm actually, but it was a family dorm, so it was actually a really old building, but it was for families. And so we were able to move in together. The thing about him is he was very emotionally abusive, occasionally physically abusive. It was very difficult for me to focus on my schoolwork and all of that while being abused, because my mental health was spiraling downwards. He actually started drinking a lot and ended up developing alcoholism. That was very hard because, you know, you come home from a hard day at work after a hard day of school and you find him having downed an entire bottle of wine or an entire bottle of whiskey, and he's just drunk as a skunk, and it didn't help the physical abuse, it didn't help the emotional abuse, it just made it worse. So I did manage to escape with the help of a friend of mine. He and I were very close, and I discussed what was going on with the person I was with, and he was able to identify that there was a huge problem and ended up helping me move out. I needed his help, but we went to the dorm people, the housing area, the office where they dealt with dorm life, and we told the lady I needed to move out as soon as possible because I was living with an abusive alcoholic and I needed to leave. And they said, all right, how about Saturday? And I was like, sounds great. And I told my parents what was up and that I needed to move on Saturday, and they came and they moved me out. I got lucky. He actually broke up with me before I moved out. He said, I think things aren't working and we need to break up. And I was like, oh, glory, hallelujah. But he didn't want me to leave. He was like, no, you're going to stay here, and you're going to at least stay here until the end of the year. And I was like, why? And he was like, well, you got to help me pay, and would guilt me into wanting to pay for it and for that housing. And I just was like, all right, I'll stay. But he continued abusing me while we weren't even together. So that was really difficult, but luckily I managed to get out of there, and he didn't try and break my stuff. He didn't try and harm me. We parted smoothly, and I suffered a lot of PTSD from it. I still have nightmares to this day about it. I remember the other day, actually, I had to meet up with somebody, and they had the same name as that ex. And I couldn't handle it. I was just freaking out the whole time because I'd never met this person before. I was just like, is it gonna be him? Is it gonna be him? Is it gonna be him? It wasn't him. The meeting went smoothly. Everything was fine. But it was just terrifying. Just hearing his name sets me on edge still. We broke up in 2013, 2014, around that. So you might be thinking, okay, well, I get it. You had that really bad situation, but what does that have to do with your college degree? Couldn't you just push through it? Well, I could have, but my depression was getting horrific to the point where I wanted to kill myself, and I had plans, and I was ready to commit suicide. But there was a little tiny bit of me. I had gotten on medication beforehand because of my anxiety. I'd been having panic attacks that didn't let me leave the house, so I was on medication. And I think that little bit of medication may have helped me be able to go get help. I went to my mother and I said, hey, I want to kill myself. And she was like, you do? And I said, yep. And so I was put into outpatient care, and I did the whole outpatient care thing regarding depression and all of that. But I was doing other unhealthy behavior. I had unhealthy coping mechanisms, and I was hospitalized for a seizure, and my unhealthy mechanism was revealed in that hospital visit. And I was told that I needed to go to inpatient care. So I said, okay, I'll do it. So I went into the psych ward, and I think I was there for about a week, and it was the best experience of my life. It really helped me. I got on all the medications I needed to be on. Now, that's not the full story of everything that happened. I had a lot of other stuff go down, but the hospital visit where my coping mechanism was revealed is what got me to get the help I needed. So I ended up living with my mom. I had been living with her before this hospital visit, but I was full-time living with her. And it was really hard for me because I felt a lot like a failure. I didn't want to live with my mom. I mean, I love my mom, but I didn't want to be that person living with their parents, because in the United States, people who live with their parents are looked down on. They are made fun of. They're told that they're failures. They're all sorts of awful things. And so that's how I viewed myself when I had to live at home. I did end up moving out once I got a job that was stable. I did talk about some of my job experiences in my Why I'm Unemployed video. I'll link that in the description below. But yeah, I finally got a job that was able to help me pay rent and all of that. And so I started living on my own after that. But I did not have that degree. I ended up, I guess I should have said this. I ended up dropping out when I had the hospital visit. I had to drop out. I dropped out and never went back. Actually, that's a lie. I did do community college for a little bit. Didn't work. And it didn't work because I was having a really hard time focusing on schoolwork and getting stuff done. And then I tried again, like last year or the year before, and that didn't work because I was actually having another spiral around that time, so that didn't work. I do think that I want to go back. I've been talking a lot about it, and some of you know that I have plans for a business, so I'm thinking about getting a business degree, but I'm not sure yet. We'll see what happens. I'm just really not a good student. I have a hard time focusing on my work, so I would really need a lot of help with that and a lot of help scheduling my time, and it's just, I'm not a good student. So hopefully I'll be able to get the help I need when I go back to school. It won't be anytime soon. Honestly, I'm thinking in like a year or two I'll go back, but not quite yet. So yeah, that is my why I do not have a college degree video, and I just want to let you guys know, if you don't have a college degree, it's okay. Everything's okay. You can definitely get a college degree if you want, but there are things you can do without it, and you're gonna get to where you need to go. Promise. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. A big thumbs up really does help my channel out, and subscribing is awesome. You'll get to see more videos like this. Alright, have a great day guys. Bye!